I count slowly, slowly, slowly getting faster. Once I start counting, it's very hard to stop. Hey, faster, faster, it is so exciting. I could count forever, count until I drop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. I love counting whatever the amount. 1, 2, 3, 4, hey, 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 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, that's it.
Good morning, Possums. Well, I am glad to be back in beautiful downtown Florence, Alabama. I apologize for the lack of update last week. I was freezing my balls off in Denver, Colorado. So we will be covering 2 weeks worth of updates today. Things are really getting tight, and I should point out there is still plenty of time to for pretty much everybody to get into the playoffs. We've got six or seven games left to play. Nobody is more than 3 games back. Let me remind you that we are a division-based team. We will take the top 2 in each division. And as we notice every year, let me just remind you that the projected playoff bracket does not take into account divisions until we get to the playoffs. So don't be concerned if you look at the projected bracket and realize that it's not taking the divisions into effect. With that being said, let's look at a few of the numbers. Most total points. The beloved commissioner is still leading that at the moment with 969, but it is getting tighter. Brett is trailing me by 78, and Eminem is trailing by 93. Still plenty of time for a lot of changes in that contest. Ironically, the beloved commissioner, since Tim put such an ice whooping on me this week, is now leading in points against as well, although that is pretty tight. Eminem is right there with me. On the highest single weekly score, I'm glad Mr. Collins is not participating in the secondary pool with the ice whooping he gave, although I still edged him out by about 2 points. On the highest, the 184.8 is still standing. On the worst first-round pick, Barry is still a lock, of course, with Mr. Bell holding out. He did not show up for practice today. So I suspect, again, that he is going to be a lock. Brett still holds the current best first-round pick, which carries no money, by the way, Mr. Jennings. But Gurley overall as number 1 was certainly the right choice, at least this part in the season. On the squeakers. So last week, Sean came close. He got beat by 1.2. So 2 more yards could have made a difference in that game, but close but no cigar. We had 2 close games this week. Aaron getting beat by 3.2 and Bob and Matt getting beat in historic fashion, 2.5. Just insult to injury, guys, that if you weren't going to pull out the win, you didn't get the squeaker. Last man standing early. So the beloved commissioner was eliminated this week. That leaves only Brett and Sean. So next week, we will award a prize to whoever who has the higher score between those 2. Unfortunately, the beloved commissioner also had the low score in the beginning of the last man standing late prize. So I am eliminated in that one going forward as well. That one will be awarded at the end of the season. Most valuable player. Last week it was your wide receiver one. And let me remind you, I took the highest of your 3 primary wide receivers. Bob and Max receiver scored the highest last week. This week it was the highest of your 2 running backs. And Brett posted that up as the highest score. It is, we're down to the point that right now Bob and Mac is leading this category with 74.8 points. But it is very close. Sean is trailing only by about 14 points. And probably Aaron and Bissell and perhaps Brett are still in striking distance of that prize. The prize will be awarded next week is going to be based on your quarterback. And I did take a peek. Bob and Mac have 2 quarterbacks on their roster, Dalton and Ryan, and they are both on byes next week. So could be interesting. Full participation. The closest last week was Sean with a low of 5.7. The closest this week was Eminem with a low of 4 points. This will continue on to week 8. We are still at a 6-point contribution for week 8. Pick streak. Bob and Barry both picked the Rams. They both are still alive. So I will expect picks from y'all 2 next week as per normal. So at this point, we have only awarded 1 prize to Sean for trusting the competition. However, next week, last man standing early, and the most valuable player will be awarded. So we'll give out at least $150 next week. Let me end with a note that the beloved commissioner is going to Tunica, Mississippi on Saturday afternoon. And I am staying the evening and meeting my daughter and some friends over there Sunday morning to have a meal and mess around a little bit. So the beloved commissioner will not be coordinating an outing on Sunday. If any of y'all would care to join me in Tunica, you are more than welcome. You will need to, I'll probably head over there around 3 o'clock on Saturday, but I will have a full vehicle on the way back. So if anybody cares to join, you're welcome, but you'll need to make your own arrangements for travel. And if you choose to spend the night, you'll need to make your own arrangements for that. And with that, y'all all have a good week. Roll Tide.